From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's warchant.com's Azan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, a 3-touchdown loss to a 3-win Florida team. They're not even close to having this thing fixed, but you already knew that. Incredible stat from Corey on Mike Norvell and Jordan Travis. And what are the things that can help spark enthusiasm immediately? Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Warchant BOGO, your promo code. In the holiday spirit, let's extend our Black Friday giveaway to Cyber Monday as well. Use the promo code warchantbogo. Buy one, get one free. Order 5 boxes, one for every win Florida State had this past season. You'll get 10 by virtue of using that promo code. And send me the screenshot of your order. I will send you a black Nike Polo, Warchant Vitamin Energy branded. It's sweet. People think you actually work for one of these companies. So get involved, everybody. VitaminEnergy.com, Warchant BOGO, your promo code. Warchant.com, I don't think it's a promo code, Corey, but that Black Friday sale was extended all weekend long and in through, that's not a right proper terminology, in through, and through today, Cyber Monday. 50% off an annual membership at Warchant.com. Full access to everything at Warchant.com. You can get involved in the message board conversations. You can read all the premium content. You can read Ira's post about NIL and the portal and how they're going to attack it, and Corey's columns, and then all the recruiting stuff. And then you can read all the other message boards, the national folks on On3. And you get that year subscription to The Athletic. Again, 50% off an annual membership. I know I said that we were going to pull the plug after Friday, which I thought that I wasn't lying to everybody. I had no idea they were going to extend it throughout the weekend and then through Cyber Monday. I would imagine this is probably the last day of it. So if you were thinking about joining us, and I know it's tough because your team just went 5-7, our team, everybody. Which, by the way, Corey, I want everybody to know before we start. First off, I hope you're doing well. Are you?
I am. Thanks for asking, buddy.
So I was actually on the sideline at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium on Saturday, and I was filming back. Was in my old bag of tricks doing things, and I don't know. It was like third, fourth quarter. It might have been after fourth. I think it was fourth quarter because they got done singing the Tom Petty song. And I guess Albert is the name of the stuffed mascot alligator that walks around.
Yeah.
And I'm just standing on the sideline with the camera in my hand, and he walks by me and puts his fist out to fist bump me. And I look at him, and I shake my head. And then he puts his fist out again, like, come on. And I shake my head. I'm like, I can't, man. I'm like, I went to the other school. And then his handler's like, oh, all right, let's keep going. So just know that I didn't bend, everybody.
Yeah.
Wouldn't make nice with the enemy. But I wish they would have made it a little bit nicer to Florida State after that 40-21 loss on Saturday. Corey, I don't really even know where to start, man. The only thing that I really want to talk about the game, and we can talk about Jaden Ball and the way he ran against Florida State, and I guess the fact that Mike said that they were trying to prepare for that. They knew it was a high probability. I legitimately thought the way that Florida looked in their last 2 drives of the second quarter, I think they turned the ball over. Florida State scored. They got the ball back with maybe under a minute to go and 2 timeouts, and they barely got past midfield,
right,
if even did that. And then their first drive of the second half, they went 3 and out, if I'm not mistaken, Florida, right?
Or 4 and out. But they got sacked around midfield, yeah.
I literally, this is all my fault, everybody. In my group chat with my friends, I'm like, I don't think the team in blue is going to score again unless it's off defense or special teams, or if we give them a short field. And then, sure enough, that next drive, Florida State, listen, man, it's a 3-point game. I know this is not the 85 Bears, but maybe they're not built, Corey, Florida State, to make this an ugly, drag them out defensive struggle the rest of the way. But, like, you opted to try to get into a track meet with that team by going forward on 4th down on your side of the field. I really believe they should have punted the ball, played some defense, and kind of just been a boa constrictor and just squeezed the life out of Florida. They went for it. I don't know. Should they have got it? Should they have gotten into play before? But that, to me, that was a turning point of that game. But again, it's one of many bad Saturdays, Fridays, Thursdays for this program this year.
Yeah, and look, man, I don't have a problem with the decision at all. I have a problem with the result of the play, but I mean, I think you're 5 and 6. You go for it there. It's not 4th and 4. It's not 4th and 2. It's 4th and a yard. And it was what you did at the beginning of the season at your own 34 in a much more important game we thought at the time with Alabama, and you got it. So I understand the reasoning to do it. But, yeah, man, they didn't get it, and then it was over after that. Literally, I think they run off 17 straight points or 20 straight points after that. Florida did. They scored 3 plays later because, of course, man. And I think it just kind of embodied what's been the issue with this team, especially on the road, is not physical enough up front on either side of the ball, and then kind of, I don't know, man, mentally soft. Like, you go out there, your team doesn't get it, although I think he did. But also, Tommy, don't step out of bounds when you're trying to extend the ball. Dive forward.
Yeah.
Dive still in play. Like, I think the ball was where it needed to be when he stepped out of bounds, but don't give a bad referee or a bad officiating crew, if you think they are, a chance to make a bad call. Make it obvious, and he didn't. He's played enough football to know when you're running sideways, just dive up, dive vertical, and he didn't. He tried to run straight out of bounds. It didn't work, blah, blah, blah. And also, Roy Dell could have gotten the play before, but he didn't. And then, 3 plays later, it's a 10-point game again. Like, I legitimately thought Florida State was about to go take the lead.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it seemed like they had all the momentum. Florida had not looked good on their last 3 drives. They had gotten away from giving Baugh the ball and tried to let Lagway make plays. And you would score on your last drive before the half, except for the one with 20 seconds left. You'd look good offensively there at the end. And I was like, okay, Florida has a chance to give up. But no, you don't get it on 4th and an inch. You get a weird replay. I don't even know if they looked at the replay. They said they were, but we literally never saw another vantage point of it. Never saw another replay. He was looking into a monitor, but he might have just been reading emails. I have no idea what he was looking at. And then they score 4 plays later, and that's kind of a wrap on the game, and that's kind of fitting for what this program is right now. And it's not the thing that needs to be fixed the most. I think the quarterback play is what needs to be fixed the most, and I have some stats to back that up here in a second. But physicality, both lines of scrimmage, maybe a little more want to, maybe a little, obviously better players, but guys that maybe, in the 12th game of the season, I don't know, play like they care a little bit. Be nice. Like, I don't think Tony White had a great game by any means. Clearly, you can't give up 266 to one running back and think that and take any bows for what your defense, give up 40 points to the worst offense in the SEC, not named Kentucky. So, by the way, what did Florida score against Kentucky? 7?
I think so.
Something like that? Yeah, awesome. And you gave up 40. So, well done. Just a mentally tough program you got there, Mike.
Well, it would have been 30. It would have been 34, but they decided to call timeout, and I don't know what they were doing. So,
hey, get the ball back. You're only 2 scores down, right, Aslan? You got a chance. Mike never gives up, never gives in. He's all about heart. So anyway, it's just the whole game. And that's what I wrote about afterwards. Is like, and I've been saying this for a month, guys. I really have. Like, you can, I keep using the word squint, or you can convince yourself that, man, they are a couple plays away, and they have been in some of these games. Obviously, the Stanford game. By the way, Notre Dame handled the late start okay.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
They're Central Time, Core. They're a little more acclimated.
That's true. Good point.
Zones,
they faded in the second half once it was past their bedtime. It's a good point. So. Yes, you could have beaten Stanford with a play here or there, a better replay review. You could have beaten NC State. You could have beaten Clemson if you do this or do that. Blah, 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 right?
That.
Like, all these things could have happened if you catch the ball.
Okay,
if you catch the ball, maybe you got a chance.
Yeah.
But you don't. And then against Florida, there was no, 1 or 2 plays. You got physically manhandled to an embarrassing degree by a team and a defense that I thought was playing really well coming into that game. But clearly they had there was no desire to go tackle that kid. And even if there was, the guys up front got pushed around. Their 2 best players up front are probably the Desir brothers. Well, they're true freshmen, man. And they had 23-year-olds leaning all over them. And now they made some plays, and Mandrell got another sack. But that's a bad matchup. Daniel Lyons against a good offensive line is a bad matchup. And all these are bad matchups. Your front 7, I shouldn't even leave it to the defensive line. Your linebackers are just pedestrian at best. Your running backs are pedestrian at best. You know who led Florida State in rushing this year?
Tommy Castellanos.
By 100 yards.
It wasn't like he ran
had a
for
good
1,000 yards either, right? You know?
No, he was like 566.
Yeah.
And then you had 3 other guys around 400, which great, and you still averaged a lot of rushing yards per game. But you never found a bell cow running back. You never developed a consistent passing game because you're limited there. And then your defense on the game that you're trying to play to get bowl eligible just completely gets manhandled and kind of emasculated, abused by a team that sucks.
3 wins. They had 3 wins.
4. Yeah, 3-8, man. 3-8. We're down 31-0 at half to Tennessee. Not a good Tennessee team, by the way.
Yeah.
Not a great one anyway. I guess they're decent, certainly better than what's in Tallahassee right now. So that's what I hope was taken from that game, honestly, is you can't lie to yourself that you're close. You're not close. You're close to have a winning record, right? And they are. Nobody can listen to this or watch these games and think that Florida State's not close to having like I don't know, man, an LSU type season, 7-5, 8-4. It was there. Are you close to competing for a national championship? No chance. No chance. And you look at Florida's line of scrimmage, and their defense is even very good, but the guys on that defense move piles. You had 2 4th and shorts and didn't get anything. When was the last time Florida State stopped a real team on 4th and short? That doesn't happen. No. Team goes for it on 4th and short. That's why they give up 8-minute drives, because teams know that they don't get it on 3rd down. It's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 1.5. They're going to get a first down because they're just going to push Florida State back. And so that game, I just think it illuminates everything, and everything could be on the table. Like everything. Like it's not rock bottom, because I think last year was rock bottom. You were better this year than last year. You weren't embarrassed 52-3. But giving up 266 and giving up 40 to a bad Florida team, worst Florida team in 5 decades probably. In the way it looked, I feel like maybe there could be changes all across the program. And I'm talking all across the program. On the field, off the field, in the nutrition department, in the strength and conditioning department. Like, you have to look at everything. Not only when you go 7-17 over 2 years, which is gross enough, but when your last game during that stretch, when you're again trying to fight for bowl eligibility, you really have no chance in the second half because you just get pushed off the field like you're a JV team. Yuck. So hopefully this gets a big ball rolling about what exactly needs to be changed in this program. There's a lot, but you got to go get some. You got to be better up front, especially on defense. That front 7 has to be better. Go spend some money and invest in real players up front.
All right, I don't disagree with anything that you just said there, Corey. I was a bit of a hanging on the edge of the seat of my pants, or rather on the edge of my seat if I was actually sitting down, but I'm standing up because I'm crazy like that. But I thought maybe you're going to go with they need to address quarterback, and I wanted to ask kind of your
they do.
Okay, so Tommy graded himself and said he thought that might have been the best game he's played since he's been here. 17 of 28, 240, 2 touchdowns. He did have an interception, but it was on the last play of the game, which was rather inconsequential. 19 rushes, 77 yards, and a touchdown. That does, I think, include his sack yardage. Does not include the fact that he fumbled the ball as well. So nothing from that performance makes you think, again, if they catch the ball in Clemson, or if Deuce comes back and hits the jugs machine maybe 5 minutes extra each day and doesn't do the double clutch every other week, which that sounds rude, and I don't mean it to sound rude. Deuce is awesome. Deuce is easily the best player on this team this entire year from start to finish. Not a lot left, you think, to squeeze out of any kind of offense, especially if Gus is not here with Tommy as your quarterback.
Yeah, I just think there's a ceiling with Tommy. We've seen it now. You saw it at Boston College for 2 years. You saw it here for 1. Like he's going to have some moments, but by and large, he's just not consistently good enough in the passing game, which is what quarterback's main priority is, to play here. He just isn't, and it's got to be better. And so no, and look, I don't even know if he's going to get the way he and Norvell talked. It doesn't even sound like, and I'm reading between the lines. They didn't say it. But Norvell has been non-committal about it the whole time, about him getting an extra year, the waiver. The way Tommy talked and saying they, and I basically, like, I wish them well. I think they'll get some good guys in here. It was like he was already in his mind not coming back. So anyway, I don't think he's coming back.
Do you think he's going to get another year and not come back, or do you think he's gone from college?
No, I think he's probably gone with college football. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't have a relationship with him where he's told me that. The way they talk, the way Norvell's talked about it, I don't think they feel confident that waiver would be granted. And so I think that was probably his last game. The fact that he said he went out with a bang, which, people can, take that however they want. He did have a nice game for him. It wasn't a great game. Maybe he was better than Lagway. I don't know. He didn't have Jaden Ball to hand the ball to. So who really cares? But I thought he was fine. I thought he was good. I thought it was his best game on the road since Virginia. And Crowmall dropped a ball, then he went and fumbled. They had 2 fourth down stops, a 4th and 1 where they couldn't get a first down. So there were all these things that piled up, but I thought by and large, it was the best the offense has looked on the road, but who cares? You lost to a bad team by 3 touchdowns, and it's been too much of that. And so I did this. Let me hold on. Let me you
got stats for us, Corey? Stats with Uncle Corey?
So I was looking at, look, I wrote this column. It should be on the site by the time people are listening to this. But quarterback is of the utmost importance, and I mean that is priority 1. Mm-hmm. We know Norvell is staying, so we can stop worrying about that. And I know people are going to lament that. You're not happy about it. We understand. I'm not happy going on the road and watching this either. It's just gross. But it is what it is. This is the reality. So the priority, I don't care about a general manager. Go get one. That's awesome. Florida hired some guy that was fired by Jacksonville that was a GM, and I think now he was working with the Eagles. I don't know if he's going to be any good as a GM of a college football. They're completely different jobs. I don't even know if there's a name out there that would excite people about he's going to run our personnel department. Who cares? The priority, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, GM, new president, new AD, new governor, it doesn't matter, man. Get a quarterback. Quarterback is priority number 1. There are going to be a lot of options. You have to make the right choice, and you have to put the money in that you saved a lot of money with Norvell. So use that wisely and get a quarterback, because here's the stats for you, everyone. So I looked it up. With Jordan Travis being the primary quarterback, like the guy that gets the most reps in a game. I don't just say starter because of the Jacksonville State game of 2020. He came in relief of James Blackman, I think. Or no, Rodemaker, actually.
Yeah.
And won. They were down 14-0, I think, and then Jordan Travis comes in. He didn't start, but he was the primary quarterback. Or even like the Pitt game in that same year. He started the game. I think he got injured early in the third quarter, right before halftime, but I called him the primary quarterback because he played the majority of the snaps, majority of drives, whatever. So in the 38 games that Jordan Travis was the primary quarterback for Mike Norvell, he was 29-9. In 2 of those games, Florida in 2021, Pitt in 2020, he was knocked out with an injury. But even still, we'll give him credit for those losses. 29-9. In the other, hold on. I want to get this exactly right. It's not a pretty stat, folks, but I want to get it exactly right because I just texted it to someone that I thought might be interested in it. So in the other 34 games that Florida State has played with Mike Norvell has coached here without Jordan Travis, remember, 29-9 with him. They are 9-25 without him. And 3 of those wins are Charleston Southern, Kent State, East Texas A&M. So against legitimate competition, I guess I'll throw Jacksonville State in there. Against legitimate competition, 6-25 without when Jordan Travis is not his quarterback, and 1-13 on the road. And the one road win was at the Florida game where you had like 5 NFL starters on your defense with Tate Rodemaker playing at quarterback. That's it. You've won 1 road game in 6 years when Jordan Travis has not been your quarterback. And that's not a small sample size, gang. It's 14 games. He's 1-13 with him on the road. Without him on the road. He is, what did I just say, 6-25 in the 31 real games that they played that Charleston Southern and East Texas A&M and Kent State don't count. 6-25. So, okay, guys, we know the deal. Mike Norvell can't coach when he doesn't have a star quarterback. His team sucks. 6-25 is beyond suckage. It is like Prairie View A&M in the 80s bad. It's Kansas State in the 70s bad. It is horrible. It is horrific. It is fireable, but he was not fired. So, knowing that ammo, knowing that when he has a star quarterback, he can win. I mean, you could say that about most guys, right? Yeah. There are also a lot of coaches that don't need a star quarterback, and they can still win. But this guy does, clearly. So it's worth your investment. whoever's listening to this that can make things happen, it is absolutely worth your investment to go get a quarterback that can play. I don't want a guy that got, kind of rehabbed out in Corvallis, Oregon, after getting benched at another place. And look, man, I thought Tommy was a good fit for the offense at the time. I thought he did raise the floor, so it's going to sound like I'm being hypocritical, and I am. I don't care. I'll own it. But the last two guys you got in the portal were guys that had gotten benched at ACC schools. After lots of starts, they had proven over the course of 25, 30 games in DJ's case that he wasn't good enough to lead that program, and he got benched. Tommy was there for 2 years, got benched the final month of his sophomore season, or his redshirt junior season. So let's not go get a guy that got benched. Let's cross that off the list and go find somebody else that's been – did a school actually be sad to leave? That's your first start. Go ask yourself, man, if we take this guy, is the school he's leaving, are they going to be upset or kind of meh about it?
Yeah.
And if they're meh about it, cross them off the list. Go get somebody where it will hurt the other team that's leaving. So anyway, again, we all know that coaches look better when they have good quarterbacks. Look at Belichick's record without Tom Brady, and oh boy, did that team give up on Saturday night against NC State. But even still, I'm not saying anything that's revolutionary, but by God, man, you saved this money you saved. You say you care about this fan base, and you say you care about this program. First things first, it is more important than the coach. Like, look, man, Jordan Travis deserves $10 million a year. He deserved that extension in hindsight. Quarterback is what's most important right now. Quarterback is the end-all, be-all. You go get you a quarterback, the whole world changes. Man, Vanderbilt all of a sudden are they going to be in the playoff?
They're saying they're a legitimate possibility.
Tell you this, I'm not allowed to tell you where I vote people on the Heisman. I do get a Heisman vote. I'm lucky enough to have one of those.
Yeah.
He will be one of them. He'll be one of the three that I vote for. And I'm in a world in 2025 where I'm voting for a Vanderbilt player in the Heisman Trophy race. Like, what world are we living in? Indiana is a juggernaut. So they both have really good quarterbacks. Get you a quarterback. You're not Ohio State or Georgia, man. You can't get by. Clearly, I thought you were. I thought this guy 2 years ago was a guy that could win with guile and game planning. No, he needs a star quarterback. So please, Mike, whoever's in charge, get yourself a star quarterback. Do not go to the bargain bin. Do not try to get off cheap. I don't think you maybe need to pay $5 million. I don't even know if quarterbacks go for that. Carson Beck might have been a one-off. Because if there is real revenue sharing, there will be – it does seem like there's more guardrails, parameters in place when it comes to this. You won't have to spend crazy amounts of money, but you've got to evaluate, figure out a guy that is – if it's Gus's offense or your own offense, figure out a guy that fits and can lift this whole program. Because after 2 years, nobody trusts that you can, but a quarterback like Jordan Travis certainly can. So please make it happen.
Some say Corner Pocket Bar and Grill's the Jordan Travis of sports bar and grills.
They're the Chris Winkie.
Ooh.
Or the Jameis. They're the Jameis. They win national championships every year.
That's right. CPTallybar.com, the website, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Come on out any day of the week to enjoy a lunch special, at least weekdays, and that happy hour from 4 to 7 p.m. weekdays, and then all day long happy hour on Sunday. Trivia night going down tomorrow, 7 p.m. Tuesday. Bingo night makes its return Thursday, 7 p.m. There's 4 rounds. Each single round, everybody, $250 cash money up for grabs. Delicious food, ice cold drinks, bowl season around the corner. Will a 5-win Florida State team try to make a bid for a bowl? We'll see. Who knows? Lots to discuss. Do it over a cold one with friendly folks. Do it at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. CPTallybar.com, the website, 2475 Appalachia Parkway.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Why would you wander around a warehouse store looking for paint when you could just swing by your neighborhood Ace? In addition to Ace's award-winning service, we have top-rated paint brands. Plus, our color matching technology allows us to match any color. So stop wandering and start painting. Head to your neighborhood Ace today.
In Crawfordville, your home convenience store is Ace Home Center and NAPA Auto Parts, located at 2709 Crawfordville Highway. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. warchantbogo, your promo code again. Order 5, get a polo, a really cool, sweet polo. All right, Cora, I want to ask you this because I feel like you were trending in this direction where you're talking about we're in a world right now where a Vanderbilt quarterback might be a
Heisman winner.
Yeah, Heisman winner. I mean, Heisman finalist sounds almost kind of like a certainty at this point, but maybe an actual Heisman winner. A guy at Vanderbilt is going to do that. They might make the playoff, Vanderbilt. Indiana, definitely going to make the playoff. And then you mentioned that, you're not close to anything of importance right now because of the way you've looked here of late. But, there's things out there that are available to everybody now, and it shouldn't be that quick to turn things around. So I do want to ask you this, though.
Shouldn't be that hard, you mean?
Yes. Yeah. So after last season, I'm saying this because somebody else pointed out, so don't think this is me attacking you. I'm just stealing somebody else's idea on the internet. But, after last season when they went 2-10, you're trying to rally everybody and remind everybody, listen, terrible, horrible, unforgivable, unforgettable season 2-10. But there's nothing about enduring that, the things that happened, that means you have to also suck the next year. It's you start from scratch year over year now, seemingly in this sport. And then after they lose to Florida and fall to 5-7, you're pointing out all the mistakes and all the things that are kind of trending outside of Florida State's favor. But then you're like, listen, 5-7 has no effect on what you can be next year. You shouldn't lose games next year because of what happened this past year. So how do we, I guess, kind of square both of those things up where we see a Vanderbilt, even a Virginia, 1 year kind of turnaround, and then also realize that I don't think we thought it was possible this year, but going into the season, but with the way they beat Alabama, I was like, well, why can't it be this team then? Help me kind of bridge the gap between feeling that things aren't that far off because we've seen other programs do it, but then also, man, this one season did beget another crappy season. Why won't another crappy season? Why won't it beget another one?
There's no guarantee that it won't. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys, hey, everything's okay, like the Iraqi Minister of Defense.
No.
Nothing to say, hey, we're winning.
Strong pull.
Hey, he's got this thing figured out, guys. He knows exactly what he's doing. No, I'm not going to sit here and say that. I have no idea what next year can be. I do know what college football is, though. And if you do make the right evaluations, there is a roster out there available. Think of the flipping scene in Moneyball, which I feel like I quote that movie way too much.
It's a great movie. I love it. If that movie's on, I'll watch it. I don't care.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's one of Aaron, I think that and the Facebook movie are like Aaron Sorkin's best movies. It's just incredible. I can't believe I read that book. And then I was like, wait, they're going to make this a movie? That's going to be the dumbest thing ever. And then I'm like, man, I hope they get Ricardo Rincon in that trade. That's just what this team needs to get going. But, so in that movie, though, he's talking about, I do think there's a path out there where you can find a roster that can get you to this amount of runs, which will get you to this many wins. And you're at Florida State, man. You're not the Oakland A's of Major League Baseball. You're not the Oakland A's of college football. You're more like the St. Louis Cardinals. I think, and by the way, folks, you're going to be like, oh, not the Yankees or the Dodgers. The Cardinals have the second most World Series titles in MLB history. Just throwing that out there. Look it up.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts? The Dodgers are third, but they'll soon pass everyone apparently. So there is a path. There is a way. That is not an impossibility. I'm not just a Pollyanna going to tell you that I think this guy can get it done. As I say, I don't think I've been. I think Saturday night might have been the maddest I've been.
Yeah,
in this whole thing. I don't know why. It's so off-putting how easily his teams get dump trucked. It's just off-putting. And it's off-putting to keep losing games and not have any will on the road. And the only road win you have, I think it must be the only road win he's had since he's been here. Can that be right? No, sorry, the Jordan Travis years. Other than the Jordan Travis game was the Florida game 2 years. Well, Jordan Travis doesn't have any more eligibility left, man. You got to figure out a way to win on the road, and he has not clearly in 2 years, and it's gross. It's the first time in Florida State history that a team has gone back-to-back seasons and lost every road game. What? Like even the 73 team or 74 team managed a road win at Miami. So, but anyway, all that to be said, you get the right roster, you get the right players in here, it can turn around quick. I'm not predicting it will, but look, man, this team, as mad as I am at what we just watched over the last 6 weeks, really 10 weeks, They finished 2-7. What we watched, it was more competitive. It was a better roster. It wasn't good enough, but it was a better roster. It played situations poorly. It wasn't necessarily well coached. We can all agree with that. It got bad quarterback play. It could be soft against the run. There were all these problems with it, but it had a much more talented roster. They were in a lot closer games. They just didn't perform well in those close games. So I did like that at least they made improvement. Now, if they make similar improvement, don't just have a similar team, but make another sizable step. And I know you're saying a sizable step, man. I get it. But we tend to forget how bad 2024 was. And that's all on the head coach. Like, he doesn't get a pass for it. It was his team. But that team was awful. This team has an awful record. But I don't think it's an awful – it's a roster that's awful. It just had an awful record, and maybe it was awfully coached. But you get more talent to go along with what you currently have. You figure out your quarterback situation. You figure out who your running back is instead of just leaving it to – I don't know if they do rock, paper, scissors on the sidelines and whoever loses has to go in the game. I don't know how it works with their running back rotation, but it defies sense and logic. What happened here the last 6 weeks with the running back, really all season. But, there is a path, right?
I mean, it's what, Virginia and Duke in the ACC championship game?
And the crazy thing with Duke is was Duke 7-5?
Duke might ruin this entire – I mean, not that this conference had a really great reputation.
It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome if Duke won. And then the ACC is just shut out. Texas gets to go or something. But, I mean, that's like Duke hasn't had a special year. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they're 7-5. They got a couple breaks and they played different teams, and I guess they handled the road better. They could figure out a way to win on the road, but there isn't much difference at all. Like last year, there was a world of difference, especially in the second half of the season. I'm talking about 2024, between the rosters and the ability of the players that were playing for Florida State and the opponents. This year, other than the game on Saturday, which was inexplicable, there was not much. It never felt like there was a lot of difference in rosters. So at least that was a positive development. You weren't just outmanned. You weren't outclassed. You were outcoached. You were outprepared. You were out-recruited, I guess, by Florida, by the great Billy Napier. But you could see where this team had gotten better and made strides. But the end of the result is this isn't good enough. It's not close to good enough. It wouldn't be good enough. Literally, it wouldn't be good enough at, like, Colorado State. It wasn't good enough at Cal. Cal just fired their coach that went 7-5. And this guy just went 5-7 at Florida State. And he's keeping his job. But there are players out there. There are players that you got some. I think McCoy is a real one. Danzy's good. Cromall might be something. Boggs might be something. The skill positions, I think, are pretty good. I think you like the Desir twins. They need to get bigger and stronger. They all do. This whole team does. Let's make that happen, Mike, one way or the other. Look like a elite college football team physically. That would be cool. But there are pieces that I think will be coming back. And the portal is wide open. And it feels like it's now or never, man. You've got to go make some strong evaluations and some strong commitments to make sure this doesn't happen again. I feel like you have to go into this season like this guy can't coach. He can't figure it out on his own. So we have to make it where he can't screw it up. Awesome. We have to give him a roster so good that he can't screw it up.
Yeah. Great.
Which is an awful place to be, right?
It's a horrible place to be.
You're going to say no to this question, but I had it listed and written down, so I'm going to ask it anyways.
No.
Is there in any way that this season actually was worse than last year? Last year was horrible, right? I get it. Like, after the month of September, every Saturday, you had virtually no chance of winning. Like, there was no chance they were going to win a game. You've had chances to win a lot of these games, but you have not. But coming off of 2-10, like, it was just, that was such what we thought was going to be an outlier, and it still technically is an outlier. But looking at that story that Ira wrote where he listed all the transfers, I think like all 23 of them and how they performed and then what they have remaining. And it was just everybody on offensive line, like out of eligibility. So coming off 2-10, you go and get brand new offensive coordinator, brand new defensive coordinator, hand over the reins of the offense. I'm not going to coach the offense. You say that it's going to be a quick fix. You clearly went for a quick fix because you got a whole bunch of guys that were just only going to be here for one season. The thought was, I guess to some people, sorry, just get to 8-4, 9-3, just look significantly better, which in some ways they had. And then that builds momentum and you keep this guy and everything's all right. It's like, man, no, that didn't work. Like we had a somewhat articulated plan going into this year. 2024 is just inexplicable. This year's like they had an explanation for everything they did. They had all this confidence it was going to work out really well. And like it did not. So in some ways, I feel like, especially when you're 3-0 and you don't even make a bowl game, like in some ways, this season almost feels maybe worse isn't the right descriptor, but like a bigger disappointment. Last year was disgusting and embarrassing. This is seething anger. How did you let it happen again when you saw what went wrong last year? Fix enough of it to win like 8 games, man. You've got the resources and you didn't even come close.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, worse might not be the right adjective to use there, but it's definitely more frustrating. It's maddening. I can tell you this. I was angrier Saturday night in the Swamp than I was at any point in 2024. Maybe Memphis. By the way, they just lost the coach again. Mike, if you want to go back, if you want to run it back in Memphis, come on, buddy. That's a great marriage.
Easy living, good barbecue, the Grizz. I mean, come on.
No, so, yeah, I just think it's more maddening. It was much more frustrating because you just got numb in 2024. Once the SMU game happened, you're like, and then DJ was lost for the season. Really, once the ball bounced off Morlock's face, you're like, okay, this season's over. This is going to be a travesty. This is going to be just an embarrassment, but you knew it. You kind of always had hope during this season. Even when they had their losing streak, they lost to Pitt, where you're like, well, you go to Stanford, you win that game, you got a couple home games that you should win. You're looking at 7-8 wins. You lost to Stanford. Okay, well, Lord knows the people listening to the show know I did it for 5 weeks straight. Look, they could win all these games. No, they didn't. They can't because it's a road game. And his teams don't play well on the road. They don't perform well on the road for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know how some head coach, I don't know what he's doing wrong. Their team is the team. Like, we all saw that team play well at times. Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, obviously Alabama, and even I know those 2 high school teams, they didn't just go through the motions. They destroyed those teams. Yeah. They played the way you wanted them to play. We've seen them look good. What is he doing wrong where they're so bad on the road? I don't know, and I'm not smart enough to answer it. The problem is he doesn't either.
Nope.
And that's the problem. So nobody's going to have any trust going into next season that this will be figured out. That does not mean it can't happen. Nobody thought Cignetti was going to go to Bloomington, Indiana, of all places. And what has he done? Go 23-1? In the regular season the last 2 years, 23-1 at Indiana, and I bet out of those 23 wins, 19 of them have been by like 4 touchdowns or more. I mean, he just crushes dreams. Nobody thought that was even a possibility. Nobody thought that Duke would be in the ACC championship game. Nobody would think this or that. So I don't expect it to happen because I'm just so flustered and frustrated right now with what happened Saturday night. But I'm also smart enough, and I'm not very smart, but I'm smart enough to know it can happen. It is not an impossibility that he has a good season next year. Whether it's by his doing or because they get Mensah from Duke or they get Bailey from NC State or they get the kid from USF whose coach just bounced to Auburn. Whatever they have to do, there is a path where they can be good again. They will have a chance. They certainly can. We don't have to pray to the sky and the sun god or be like Andy Dufresne in the mud raising our hands up to the sky to picture a scenario where Florida State can compete in the ACC. Yeah. I don't expect them to go beat Bama on the road. They don't have to. They just have to get to Charlotte like Virginia and Duke did. So as much as everybody's angry, and I know listening to me, this must be a real wonderful listen, everyone. I apologize that I'm so angry. But listening to me right now, you think there's no chance. There is a chance. This team was talented enough to get to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Because we saw that Virginia game. Virginia wasn't more talented than Florida State. This team just plays situations horribly. And that's what's so frustrating. It was another wasted year of Florida State football. And I'm tired of it, man. And I know a lot of people listen to this. Most people listen to this are tired of it because it's one of the great joys in people's lives. is the Saturdays in Tallahassee, or Fridays. Well, the Friday nights are never a joy, but the Saturdays in the fall with your favorite team. It's fun. It's what we've all grown up with. It's a lot of fun when they're good. And the Florida State, this school, this university, this program, it's a public trust, man. And he is entrusted to make it. He doesn't have to win a championship every year. We're not asking that. We know the deal. This ain't the 90s, and there's a lot of other good programs around, but he doesn't have to be worse than Stanford. Like, that's not a high bar to clear, and it needs to never happen again. It is on him. This is all his fault. All his fault. And I don't know what they're going to do to fix it. I don't know that he knows how to. In fact, I'm pretty sure at this point, I'm confident he doesn't know how to fix it. But maybe somebody they hire will know how to fix it. And it gets fixed. And maybe he's gone through some growing pains as a coach. He's going to figure some things out, and he will grow. And at this time next year, we're talking about we're talking about the ACC championship game and who they matched up with. And how cool it is that even if they lose, they're going to probably go to the playoff anyway and get a home game. Like, there is a pathway to that. I'm not expecting it to happen, but there is a pathway to that. And that's what gives me hope, because I look around the sport, and it is Florida State. You're not trying to get there at North Texas. You're not trying to get there at Washington State or Oregon State or Minnesota. This is Florida State. There will be somebody they hire that hopefully can put together a roster that can compete in the ACC and get them to be championship caliber. It is not impossible. You've got to find someone that knows how to evaluate, and you've got to spend money the right way. But there is a way. There is a way to make this happen. This is not an impossibility. I don't know that it will happen, but this is not an impossibility. He needs help. He needs help. That's sad. I don't like the thought of that, but he needs help. And so hopefully he gets some, and hopefully it starts with a quarterback. And then at least you can have some goodwill, and people will feel okay about it. If you get a big-time quarterback, it changes the whole – I don't think people are going to be excited necessarily about next year. There's going to be a lot of eye-rolling. But don't you think it would change the whole tenor of the offseason if you knew you got yourself a real one at quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, someone who's proven who have done it at this level. Yeah, and like Deuce comes back, and, Mekhi Danzy's here, and LaWayne McCoy, who had a really good game, which, but I don't really feel like talking about it all that much. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, I mean, that is that's the thing. We mentioned it like in 2021, like after that disappointing loss where, like, listen, honestly, I was out on Mike Norvell. I was like, man, this ain't it. This is not what we signed up for. And it's like the easiest thing to do is either you get a new coach or you get a quarterback. Like, that's how you fix programs. I mean, we can talk about all the other foundational. This is me pushing back against the culture people. Everything's culture. I'm like, all right, whatever, man. Get a new coach, get a quarterback, or both, one of them. That's what can change you pretty much overnight. It's not going to be a coach. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, it's got to be a really good, like a Darian Mensah, probably. I think you can see like an 8-win, 9-win season to where apparently that's good enough to make it to the conference championship game in this conference. Like, yeah, but I just don't know how many of him are out there. And again, if the cap is not going to be this huge, if there's going to be some guardrails and you can't come over the top and throw huge offers at people, like, what's going to be the differentiator that's going to make somebody that high caliber want to come play at Florida State?
Look, Florida State still sells itself. I don't dispute that. Like,
I should say, come play for Mike Norvell at Florida State.
Issue.
Sorry,
that's the issue, and that's a problem. But again, there are guys out there. There are guys out there, even if it's even if it's CJ Bailey. There are guys out there.
Ole Miss is going to be in the. I don't know if they're going to be in the playoff or not. They shouldn't be in the playoff. They don't have a head coach. If you don't have a quarterback and you don't have a coach, you shouldn't be in there. But I mean, the quarterback who's led them to potentially having a playoff spot was from Division II. Like, you don't have to go get you don't have to go get Arch Manning or whoever's backing up Arch Manning. Like, you can. There's quarterbacks, as Corey said. There's all kinds of great quarterbacks around this great land of ours. Go find one. For once. Once, just find one.
Yep, and don't get a guy that's been benched at his former school. That would be I said that at the beginning of the show. That's a good start. But yeah, and look, man, we have no idea if Sperry is going to be good at all. But I don't think, and I wrote about it. It's in the column because Tommy was asked about him, and Gus was. I asked Gus about him last week. You can't go into next season with Kevin Sperry.
No, absolutely not.
17 career passes.
No.
Not if you want You just can't, unless you think he is an undeniable superstar. You can't do it, and that might mean you lose Kevin Sperry. Okay, man, this is too big a season to take a risk at that position. You've done it 2 years in a row. They didn't think DJ was that much of a risk. They thought they knew what they were getting in him, which they didn't. But also they had nothing around him to work with. He was not the player they thought they were getting. He couldn't run because he got banged up or he got hurt in August, and he couldn't run, so that element was done, and he just wasn't a good enough pocket passer. Tommy had a good enough weapons.
Yeah.
I think Danzy's an NFL receiver. Nice touchdown there. I have no idea what McCoy's ceiling is, and Deuce Robin is absolutely an NFL receiver, and this passing game was still hit or miss and very, very bad on the road for most of the season. So anyway, you have some receivers in place here, I think, that you could sell to a potential quarterback coming in if they stay. But that part of that might have to do with if Gus is staying. There's so many questions out there. But again, you're right about Ole Miss. Like we
know by Wednesday
he was supposed to be the starter, right? He won the job, right?
Well, yeah, Austin Simmons was their starting quarterback. He got hurt, and then they brought in the Trinidad Chambliss kid off the bench who was at Fair State. Before we pick that point up, we talk about there are a lot of questions out there. Do you think before Wednesday? I mean, that's signing day. You would think either, Gus is like, I'm out, I'm retired, or I'm going somewhere else, or I'm Mike says something at the press conference where we're going to move forward with this guy at this job and at this spot. I mean, I think, there's some other things I want to get into, but what's a reasonable timeline, do you think, to find out I feel like Monday they need to come out with either this guy are not being retained, or you need to have, because I think you can buy yourself some time if you start saying, all right, like, sorry, but Derek Gray's been relieved of his responsibilities as GM. We appreciate all of his efforts towards Florida State. We are conducting a national search to find somebody to head up our player evaluation department, which we hope to give more latitude in creating a roster of national championship caliber quality. They either have to get rid of some people today on Monday, or they need to have like the GM hire leaked to where we're able to pull some stuff up on Wikipedia and be like, oh, this guy went on the top of the table and banged his feet around to get this player drafted at this team that's done really well in the third round. They need to do something like immediately, Corey. I don't know if that's overreacting or being too emotional.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they need to. It would behoove them. I don't know that it's a need. Like, the class is going to be the class either way. The fan base is going to be fed up either way. Nothing you can give them, no like raw meat is going to matter on later today. Now they might do it, but I would think if they don't make any like coaching staff announcements today, then they'll wait till after signing day, which is 2 days from now, everyone. Right. So it would make no sense to announce it before signing day. Wait like it's the old days. Wait,
pull him on
the coach
campus.
Doesn't announce he's leaving until the kid's signed on the dotted line and he's stuck there. So just do it like that. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what the timeline will be. We'll obviously talk to Mike about it on Wednesday because I assume we're having a recruiting signing day press conference. And so we'll get to ask him some questions then or get some more clarity. But, they will make some changes. I just don't know. There's nothing they can do, man. There's nothing we can say, I can say, and there's certainly nothing that man can say that is going to make anybody feel better about the future of this program or about his place in it. But the games will be played, and he does. We all reserve the right to change our mind, right? You've been back and forth a few times on this guy, right?
Yeah.
That kind of comes with the territory. So if next year, and we all changed our minds this year, think about what our show was like in September and what it is now, and this stupid tone in my voice that I can't get rid of. Like, we all reserve the right to change our mind. He could change our minds for us. It's going to take a lot, man, because this has been an embarrassment. But go win yourself 3 ACC championships and a national championship over the next 5 years. We'll say our bad. You were right. Our fault. We didn't believe in you. We didn't see the vision. We didn't see the vision of the 266 you gave up to Baugh or losing to Stanford. But we saw the bricks were being laid. We get it. Whatever. There'll be a bunch of mea culpas. It'll be an aura culpa if you somehow turn this around. But so the point is, nothing that can be done over the next month, save for I don't even know. I don't even know who a quarterback would be that you'd be like, oh my God, what? He's coming. Mensah would be it. And even then, he's the quarterback at Duke. How many Florida State fans are really that, familiar with him?
Yeah.
And he played at Tulane before that. And heck, he might go to. Didn't he play with Summerall for?
He did.
Maybe. Well, that would not be good. But they got Lagway. They got the first pick in the draft. They're not gonna get Mensah. But so he played at Tulane. He played at Duke. So I know a lot of people maybe aren't familiar with him. He is going to be an NFL quarterback. He's really good. Watch him on Saturday night against Virginia in the ACC championship game. We're all looking forward to so much. So there's nothing that can be done. And there's really nothing that can be said. We'll speculate. We'll predict. We'll talk about this and that, and I'll have opinions on if this is a good move or a bad move. And I'll probably try to see the glass half full because that's kind of my nature. And I just think it's depressing to talk like this and to think like this because there's nothing we can do about it. This is our reality. He's the coach. This is the program. But 2026 could be really, really good. Not predicting it, but it could be really good. It will all take place in these next 6 weeks. We will have no idea. And I don't even know, even if they started next year 5-1, or 6-1, I wouldn't be. If they were 5-1, I don't know that I would still be confident they were going to make a bowl next year. You know what I mean? So we won't get ahead of ourselves next year. I can promise you that. It will take more than just one good month or one good half of the season. But there is a possibility that we will be very happy with what the product is next year. Because it's college football and it is Florida State. You do have the resources to compete, certainly at the ACC level, where you can expect to go beat a Louisville on the road or a Boston College on the road. That is not too much to ask for. That is not too much to predict to happen. So hopefully they go do it. But I want to. It's not untenable. It's not lost completely. It just isn't. Let's hope whatever they decide, the fact that they let him stay around and save this money, they will utilize this extra year in whatever structural changes they're going to make and make this a good program again. And when it becomes good, it can become great real quick. So let's hope that's what happens.
Well, let's hope we get really better quickly. I'm making our picks over to Underdog Fantasy Sports. 2 for 2. We went 2-2 in our 4-play parlay. So even with the flex forgiveness, did not deliver. We've got championship weekend. Let's go to Corey's favorite quarterback in the country, not named Jordan Travis, Darian Mensah. 263.5 passing yards, 1.5 passing touchdowns. Higher or lower on either of those sound good to you, Corey?
Yeah, higher on both.
Okay, which one do you like better? You can only do one per player.
Oh, then I'll do the touchdowns.
Touchdown, 1.5. All right, let's go to Ohio State taking on Indiana. That's going to be a fantastic game. Jeremiah Smith, 5.5 receptions, 71.5 receiving yards, or 27.5 yards longest reception.
Oh, I would take the higher on all those. Literally, I would take the higher on all those.
I feel like it's 27.5 longest reception.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Higher on that one. Georgia taking on Alabama.
That's right.
Ty Simpson, 242.5 passing yards, 1.5 passing touchdowns. Gunnar Stockton, 206.5 passing yards, 31.5 rushing yards.
I'll always do lower on Stockton passing.
Okay.
Let's do lower on that.
All right. And then maybe one just for 4, just for fun. How about Drew Mestemaker? He's the quarterback in North Texas. They're taking on Tulane in that championship game. 310.5 passing yards, higher, lower.
Wow. I guess that's crazy. Both those coaches have accepted other jobs too. I would say I have no idea. Let's say higher.
We can punt on that one then.
No, that's higher. We'll do higher. I know he throws for a lot. I think he's leading the country in passing.
Okay.
So let's say higher.
All right, those 4. That's a 10-1 payout, everybody.
There we go.
Boom.
There we go.
Boom. Get involved. Download the app today. It's Underdog Fantasy Sports. Sign up with promo code WARCHANT to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code WARCHANT. Underdog. Make picks. Win money. Underdog Fantasy Sports must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 and older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant. It is presented by Vitamin Energy, warchantbogo, your promo code. I feel like we touched on it a little bit throughout the show, Corey. I know a lot of people want to know, like, what's next? What should they do, right? You think everything could be addressed, right? Like up to strength and conditioning and what they actually do either in the weight room or during fourth quarter drills, your nutrition staff, quarterback clearly, offensive and defense. I mean, you have to get somebody on the offense. I mean, you have no choice almost. I mean, you're losing all your starters. Defensive line also part of the mix there. Does it all start with that GM hire? I mean, to your point earlier in the show, like, are we at the point where there's such little faith in Mike Norvell's ability to do anything of great importance that involves assembling a winning roster, that it really all just comes down to this GM, whomever they hire, and the way they're going to restructure it? Or do you think a new OC, new DC, OC quarterback combo is maybe the most important thing on the wish list?
Well, no, I mean, I think the quarterback is the most important, no matter who the OC is, no matter who the GM is. That's got to be the one you can't get wrong. So that's more important for this year coming up, which is obviously a vital year for Mike Norvell's livelihood, for our mental well-being. Like, it's got to be better than this. So you've got to go get a quarterback. After that, man, because I don't know, man. It's not like this is a GM of an NFL team. There is no role like this. What had Derek Ray done before he did this job? And I love how Derek Ray is like persona non grata. He's like the villain number one.
It's Fredo.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then Michael Alford is villain number two because he won't give the money that they need to have and all this. It's like, how about it's all the head coach's fault? Remember that. That's where it starts. And I know there's plenty of vitriol facing Mike Norvell, but Derek Ray just, he might have given opinions, but Mike Norvell was the GM. He was the play caller, the OC, the GM, and the head coach. And the personnel director, the supervisor, the camp counselor, he wears all the hats, or he did. He stopped calling plays. So at the end of the day, this is all on his shoulders. Not saying Derek Ray has been good at his job. I don't even know what he does. And I don't know what the new general manager is going to do. Like, again, Florida just hired a guy. I don't know his name. I can't remember it.
I'll look it up.
But I think he was working under Howie Roseman with the Eagles, who's the Eagles GM and is very good at his job. And I think he's a Gator. Now, it would worry me if he was coming to be the GM. But even then, it's like...
Oh, David Caldwell?
Yeah, right?
Dude, so David Caldwell's a real dude. He was the Jags GM.
But he got fired, right?
Yeah, but...
Yeah, and he also...
Had some good runs.
They're not the same sport. I know it's the same sport they're playing, but it's not like I guess maybe there is a free, but being able to look at like the backup right tackle for the Falcons who gets in for 3 games because of an injury and be like, I think that's a guy we could get in the offseason for cheap. We need to get him.
Yeah.
That's a completely different thing than looking at an 18-year-old kid and being like, I think in 2 years he could be an all-conference guy. Like, they're just... The body develops in a different way. The stuff that's been put on film, there's so much more of it. It's a much different job that I don't know that you could even get Howie Roseman. Is that his name?
Howie Roseman, yeah. John Lynch. Say John Lynch.
John Lynch. That's an easier one for me to say.
Yeah.
John Lynch. I don't know that if you even got John Lynch, who I think did he go to Stanford?
He did. He's a Stanford man.
Yeah, or Andrew Luck for that matter. Look at him. Look how great that's going. They beat Florida State, and that was it. But yeah, you could go get John Lynch. It's different to say I want Brandon Jennings, or I think McCaffrey we should draft him in the first round, or trade for him, and go get a kid from Pahokee High that was a 3-star, but you think is being undervalued. Like, it's just a completely different role. It's a completely different sport when it comes to evaluation. That said, I'm not saying it's not important. I just don't know if there's anybody yet in this space of this new reality of college football with GMs that has proven to be really, really good at it. Like, I don't know who Ohio State's GM is. I think Ohio State is its own GM. and Ryan Day and Hartline are really good at recruiting and evaluating. I don't know that you need a GM. But I could be wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know what this looks like, and I don't know that there will be a big name, and I don't know what exactly role that will be. I don't know. Did they report to Norvell, or does Norvell report to them?
No way. Other way. He's got to report up, man.
I guess, but then how much you spending on a guy like this? Like, Norvell makes 10.5. The guy that makes more money is usually in charge. That's just how the world works. So anyway, I think that I don't know what that will be. I don't know how important that is. I do know that they need better evaluation, clearly. And hopefully whoever they bring in to do this, whether it's 2 guys, 5 guys, one just brainiac, Jonah Hill, Moneyball guy to bring in, like, just make sure you get the right guy that knows what he's looking at and knows who's good. Because too many times in the past 2 years, they've gone in the portal and it has not been good. It has just been a waste of a roster space, especially, in my opinion, in the front 7 on defense.
Yeah.
And at quarterback. Let's be honest. Quarterback has been a bust. Tommy had some nice plays. He was certainly better than he had some wow moments. He was certainly better than DJ. But that's not good enough either, man. You're Florida State. Why does NC State have a better quarterback than you? Why would that ever happen? Why does Virginia have a better quarterback than you?
Yep.
That's not supposed to be the case. So let's not make it happen again. Hey, before we go, though, I did want to say, like...
Well, can I run through the first-round picks that David Caldwell made when he was a GM of the Jags? They did have that one year where they got hosed on the fumble or whatever. They called him down. He wasn't down.
Oh, that was ridiculous. That was the team Jalen was on, right?
It was. All right, so here we go.
Too, yeah.
2013, Luke Jokel, tackle from Texas A&M, also known as Luke Jokel, 2nd overall. Blake Bortles in 2014, 3rd overall, not a franchise quarterback. Super cool dude, apparently. Dante Fowler in 2015. He's still in the league somewhere. Jalen Ramsey, 2016, 5th overall. Leonard Fournette, 4th overall in 2017. His first 5 first-round picks were all top 5 overall picks. 2018.
That mean that you're not doing a great job?
Probably.
If you keep picking in the top 5?
Taven Bryan, Florida defensive tackle, 29th overall in 2018. Josh Hines-Allen, who's actually been a really good defensive end for him in Jacksonville, 7th overall in 2019. And then C.J. Henderson and Kalavin Chazon from LSU. So, yeah, that's like...
He was the GM for 8 years?
Yeah, from 2013 to 2020.
Wow.
So, two good... I know two. I mean, Jalen and Josh Hines-Allen.
I think a GM really makes his money in the later rounds and then in some trades and free agent acquisitions. There's more than just like anybody can go get a 5-star and say, yeah, that's a...
What about Brett Veach in Kansas City, man? He made good on his first-round pick.
Who? Mahomes?
Yeah,
that was a pretty good one. Traded up for him, too, I think, right?
Yeah.
Even though he had a quarterback.
Yeah.
Much like the Falcons did with Penix and Kirk Cousins, and that's worked out pretty much the exact same way. So anyway, like, you know, even I would be saying this if, like, I know there's been not talk as if it's going to happen, but people bring up the name Martin Mayhew, who was a cornerback here in the late 80s. He was a teammate of Deion's, actually, and was a very good corner in the league for 10 years. And I think he was the Detroit Lions GM for a while. He's been an assistant GM. And it would be awesome because he's a Nole, and I think he's a Tallahassee native. I think he played high school. In fact, I know he did. He's a Tallahassee native, too. It would be awesome to have somebody like that in your program to be overseeing personnel, probably. But I would be saying the same thing about him. Like,
right.
It's just different. I'm not trying to poo-poo what Florida just did. There's no way to know if these guys are going to be good at this thing because this is something they've never done before. Like, they don't get a first-round pick. They can go get all of them or none of them. Like, they could. So this is just a completely different, not skill set. You still have to evaluate football players, but you're looking at guys that aren't fully developed yet. And, you know, sometimes that can be, when they're not Jeremiah Smith, it can be hard to determine if they're going to turn out to be really good football players. So that's all I was saying. But anyway, what I wanted to say about just this weekend and how crazy it was in the sport itself is, man, again, I know people say Florida State is not serious about football because they kept this guy. I get it. Florida fans are saying the exact same thing because they hired a guy that Florida State would have probably tried to hire. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so Florida State fans look at Florida and think, well, look at them. They're trying. They care. They take this sport seriously. They just hired a guy from Tulane. The Florida fans are like, screw Strickland. He should be fired. He doesn't care about this sport. He went and got another small school coach.
Yep.
So and maybe Auburn fans are happy with the USF guy. I mean, I think the AAC had 4 guys hired on Sunday. One of the Memphis coach just went to Arkansas, and all the Arkansas fans are upset by it.
That's not a big boy move. That's a bad hire. Yeah, man.
But maybe, I mean, probably, but we'll see. But like, it's just nobody. There were no good answers. I know the counter to that is the best answer is anybody but Norvell. I understand that. I see that point of view, but anybody but Norvell is going to cost you a ton of money. And there is absolutely no guarantee that Ryan Silverfield, John Sumrall, dude from North Texas,
Eric Morris, Alex Golish.
Yeah, that they are going to be any – look, man, if Auburn had it to do all over again, would they not have just stuck with Malzahn? Look what that place has been the last decade.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he had a down year or two, but by God, he was usually pretty good. And look what you've been doing the last 8 years. If Florida had to do it all over again, you know they'd stay with Dan Mullen. So, again, I'm not saying that Mike Norvell deserves to be here or should be here. I'm saying there were no good answers other than the one that I guess LSU got. And the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen in this sport probably, that 24 hours in Oxford, Mississippi. But other than that, I don't know that there was a good answer, and we still don't even know who Penn State's going to hire. They were the first one to make a change.
Yeah.
So I just want people to realize, if you put yourself in another fan base's shoes, that they're not all excited either. Like, this is a hard time for fans. It's a hard time for this sport. I'm on record as saying I would go get a coordinator. If I was any of these schools, I'd go get a coordinator. I don't think because a guy wins at Tulane, it has any impact at all on winning at Florida. Just like I don't think after 6 years that because you were good in the AAC at Memphis, that means you're going to knock it out of the park at Florida State. There is no way to really know. And there is no way to really compare what it's like to coach at USF and to coach at Auburn, or to go from Tulane to Florida. They're just you can't compare those things.
I just think the guy's got some swag to him, and he can coach defense fairly well. So
who, Summerall?
Yeah. So
well, maybe he might be good. I'm not saying he won't, but you don't know. They don't know.
No,
this
you
is
don't.
A
But
risk
again,
and a gamble.
and I get it too. He's seemingly Billy Napier's doppelganger, but just the defensive model, So I get it. They should be a little bit leery, but you can delude yourself. And listen, we're gonna end up deluding ourselves. I'm glad you said that you're not going to probably get all that excited over GM hire. I'm going to try probably not to either, not to keep the vibe down of the show, but just who knows, man? Because again, who's reporting to who's going to be the guy that's going to get the quarterback? Let's see who the quarterback and the OC is, and that's probably going to be the biggest bellwether of what's to happen. I did want to ask you about
might be Malzahn.
Yeah, it could be
one way or the other, but it could very well be Malzahn.
So Chris Felica, also known as the Bear, tweeted out on Sunday night, Ole Miss and its 7th-rated offensive efficiency-wise will not have its head coach, its offensive coordinator, its co-offensive coordinator, and wide receiver coach for whatever is next. The new head coach is the defensive coordinator of the lowest-rated defense efficiency-wise of a CFP contender. Seems like something the committee has to address. I'll let you poke holes in this. I can't believe they wouldn't just let the guy finish it out. And I guess maybe if I was a fan, I'd be like, well, get the hell out of here then if you don't want to be here. Get the hell out. But, man, they paid him to be the head coach for however many years. They gave him the extension. He got paid this year. You're Ole Miss. You're never going to find yourself in this situation again, probably. Give your program, your university, the chance to actually compete and win. Like, if he was willing to finish this thing out and give the attention to this program and that team, you should have let him finish it out. Because you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. He was going to leave you anyways. So you're going to let him leave, and you're going to have him jeopardize what could have been a pretty special team.
I think there's 2 ways to look at that. I think if it was anybody but LSU, maybe Mississippi State obviously too.
Yeah.
But I think
LSU is a big. LSU they are considered a rival for Ole Miss.
Yes.
They are.
And Ole Miss people have felt like second-class citizens to LSU forever.
Yeah,
with good reason, but they have.
Right.
And so then to have your coach, the best coach you've ever had, the one that's reached heights that they've never had, leave you for the team you hate the most. But he's still there for perhaps this isn't a one. If it was the national championship game, maybe. If this was the Mark Richt Orange Bowl, maybe.
Yeah.
But this is perhaps 4 games, and it's 5 or 6 weeks of him. What is he going to wear on the sideline? Like him being the LSU head coach, coaching Ole Miss. Like it just, I don't think it's. There's never been a situation like that. It would have been like Andy Reid coaching the Eagles last year. Just right before the playoffs started, he took the Eagles job, but he still got to coach the Chiefs. I mean, that's different because it really doesn't matter in the NFL. It's a bad analogy. I think I can understand it, and you would too, if somehow Norvell found himself in this spot, and he took the job at Florida. But he wanted to stay and coach this team out.
It's different. We've won a national title here. We have a reasonable belief that we'll find ourselves there again.
Yes, right.
They have never been in this position before, ever.
Yeah, but
ever.
I think they're thinking probably wrongly that they will be in this position again.
Yeah, good luck.
Probably not.
Good luck. Yeah.
You can understand the towards them.
And it's Lane, and who knows how Lane handled it. He might have been less than professional or less amenable than most reasonable people. Or, I don't know, maybe they asked him politely, like, all right, man, you can take the job, but just don't say it publicly. It can be the worst kept secret in the whole country's history, but just don't
then that's
go.
Impossible. And what about, like, Sunday night, I think the number 1 player in the country is committed to LSU.
Yeah, he went and visited him.
Signed with them on Wednesday, and he went and visited him.
Yeah.
Well, if he was – So he's signing kids for LSU, their rival, and then he goes to Oxford on Wednesday and comes up with a game plan to try to get ready for, Texas Tech. Like I don't think it compute. I just don't think it's something that can be done. I also think Lane is about one of one because people think this is going to happen more and more. I don't think there's another.
No.
I don't know. There's another situation where a guy has a national championship caliber team and is leaving it because he thinks he's got a better chance to win a national championship at the new place.
Yeah.
But he's got a chance this year at this place. But he thinks long term it's a better situation, and he's not wrong to go to LSU. But in the meantime, it's a lot to ask of those fans who, again, you're right, a national championship would be sweet. But, man, it's still pretty bitter, isn't it? Like, I guess it's not. You get to celebrate it. But what is he going to be on the podium holding that trophy? And literally, as soon as he's done smoking the cigar, he's on a flight to Baton Rouge to put together his
thank him.
And he's going to try to go steal those players off that team.
Thank you on the way out. Appreciate that. I don't think they're going to win a national title.
Magnanimous, and that you wouldn't be that magnanimous, but I also know where you're coming from, that it's Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And Ole Miss shouldn't sabotage their one chance at something real because they're mad at the guy and how he left. But they are allowed that because the whole thing was gross, man. He could have done it a month ago. He knew he was leaving a month ago. So It's the way he handled it, and it's also, I think, more importantly, where he's going. If he was going to USC, I think they'd be like, sure, man, stick around. Stay here. But he's going to LSU.
If he did it a month ago, is that team playing that hard for him still? I mean, I'm sure they read and know they might be on his way out.
No, man. Do you think they're playing hard because Lane Kiffin galvanizes them, or do you think they're playing hard because they're competitors and want to win?
But
they got a chance to do something special.
I don't know, man. I hate to be the culture guy all of a sudden now, but man, I don't know. I think Lane Kiffin's I think he knows what buttons to push, man. I think they realize how talented of a play caller he is, and the way he sets everything up. That they respect him and they play. Listen, man. I say this way too many times, and nobody ever seems to like it, but. People don't mind being told what – somebody once told me this, or I read it somewhere. People don't mind being told what to do as long as whoever's telling them what to do knows what they're talking about. I think
but
that
I'm
applies.
not arguing that. I'm saying I think these guys would still play hard whether they knew Lane. I think.
Well, who's left though, man? It's going to be Pete Golding and maybe Joe Judge, or is Joe Judge going there? It'd be crazy. But how about this on the way out?
No OC. Charlie Weiss Jr. left with him. It's all gross, man. I do feel bad for those kids. I actually feel bad for that fan base. They do finally have a chance to do something real. And, I mean, think about how second class you must feel as a program for this to happen when you literally have a chance, like a legitimate chance to win a national championship. We wouldn't be. I don't know what they'd be an underdog to Ohio State, probably by 10. But
I don't know what the draw.
Impossible.
Yeah, who knows what their draw would be? It all depends on the draw. Yeah,
and they have a chance, and their guy leaves. Guy leaves, and look, that team played hard against Mississippi State, and they knew he was leaving. There were no, I don't think they had any delusions that he was going to announce he was staying, and they still played hard, and I think they'll play hard without him. And I can tell you this: I'll be rooting for them. They're the team I'll be rooting for. I think the whole country will be rooting for Ole Miss. That would be awesome if they went on a run. In spite of Lane. Yeah, it's just I feel it's just such a stupid sport, man. It's such a stupid sport sometimes. And it is one of one, though. Who else leaves a playoff run to go to another team that just fired its coach? Like, who would do that? You just beat that team, and now you're going to coach that team. You beat them 2 years in a row, I think. And now you're going to coach that team, and you have a chance to win a national championship, and you leave. It would be like Andy Reid, or who's a good example this year? Sean McVay just taking the Falcons job right before the playoffs start. And the Rams are like, sorry, go, leave. Like, it's just crazy to do it. It's crazy to do it. It's crazy the calendar they have. But it is our sport, and it is this stupid calendar, and this is the result.
There's a couple other things I want to talk about, but we've gone long enough. We probably need some other things to spread out throughout the course of this week. Not sure if we're going to do 5 this week, everybody, but obviously with signing day coming up on Wednesday, we'll have reaction after that, and we'll see. Ball's in your court, Mike Norvell. Do some cool things. Michael Alford, make some cool announcements. Give us something to talk about that uplifts this fan base. They certainly deserve it. Yes. And yeah, I'm not going to say I'm going to delude myself into it. We'll see. We'll see who the GM is. We'll see maybe if there's like an underling from John Lynch. That'll make me pretty excited. And then
can I give some? I want to give some advice on the way out if people are still listening to this.
Please.
90 minutes in or whatever it's been. Don't listen to anyone that tells you exactly how something is and that they know what next year is going to be, because they don't. So people might tell you, as long as Mike Norvell's here, they can't win. They believe that too, but that doesn't mean it's true. Just know that. Know that, and while I'm not convinced and confident at all, I'm also, again, smart enough to realize that I don't know what next year will be, and I don't know what this roster will be, and I have no idea what the schedule will shape out to be. I mean, I know what the schedule is, but we don't have any idea how good those teams are going to be. So just don't let yourself be convinced that all hope is lost as long as this guy's here, because somebody that tells you that like it's a fact, they don't know what they're talking about. They have an opinion. It's based in some merit, but they don't know what 2026 is, because this is a brand new season. The Chicago Bears are in first place in the NFC. There are a million NFL experts that I see all over my Twitter feed and all over my TV. Nobody in August, not one person, had them after 12 games being number one in the NFC. People don't know. We know this guy has struggled mightily, and he has failed at a colossal rate the last 2 years. We all understand that. That does not mean it will happen again. It is not a certainty to happen again. You might think it's a probability. It's definitely a possibility, but I promise you it is not a certainty. None of us talking right now would have dreamed that this team would have, when we were talking last December, that Florida State would win the season opener against Alabama by 2 touchdowns. Not anybody thought that.
Yeah.
Nobody did. Yeah. Just like none of us thought, okay, well, when we get done with Thanksgiving, they won't even be in a bowl after the Alabama win. So just know, nobody knows for sure. It's all opinions. It's all opinions. I think there's a chance. I know there's a chance they could be better. I have no idea what the roster is going to be, though. I know they have to get a quarterback. And if they get a good quarterback and they get some help on the line of scrimmage, there is no reason this thing can't be good next year, even with this guy coaching it, if you believe that he's the worst coach in America. And I think you could argue the last 2 years he has been. But that doesn't mean – that just means he's been the worst coach in 24 and 25, Aslan. That doesn't mean he's the worst coach of all time. It doesn't mean he could win comeback coach of the year in 26. And we're all going to be happy. We're all going to be in Charlotte. We'll get go ahead. You know what? I just said don't listen to people. Go ahead and book your hotel rooms for Charlotte next December, everyone.
Also, good morrow and Godspeed to Mark Stoops, fired last night at Kentucky. So
he had a good run, man.
He did.
13 years, right? His first year there was 13.
Yeah.
It was the year after 2012 was his last year at Florida State. 13 years, man. Good for that's a good run.
Hey, come be a DC, Mark.
Or come be a GM for the defense. That's a guy that knows what he's looking at when it comes to defensive football players. Has no clue offensively, never has, and that's why he's finally gone. But defensively, save for this year, that guy knows what it looks like. Come on back. You were only in Tallahassee for, 3 years? We get it.
Yeah.
But come on back. You put some roots down. You help them out. You're not going to be the coordinator probably unless Tony White leaves, but you can be the defensive GM and go load this roster with SEC caliber front seven. Please. Please do it now.
I saw an interview in 2013 before the national title game. Maybe it was before the Commonwealth Cup or after the Commonwealth game, but he was asked his thoughts on a national title game coming up between Auburn and Florida State. He was genuinely so happy that somebody asked him that, and he was smiling the whole time, talking about oh man, you won't find a bigger Florida State fan than me when they play that game. There's so many people back there that I love and know and coach, and so yeah, I mean, he has fond memories. So come, give us a discount, Mark. Come on,
prove it, Mark.
Come on,
prove
Mark.
it.
You
love this
team.
You love this program. You love this city. Come prove it. Let's go. Quit being a baby.
All right, more shows to come this week. Not exactly sure the days, but we'll see if we can. Maybe Pete Nakos finally get on the show. Our schedules have been conflicting, and then we had that whole holiday in the middle of last week. But we'll see if we can get the big dog on the show to give us some bones of what's going on out there. Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 4 o'clock. I don't know what I'm going to be doing any point on Monday, but I know from 1:06
right
to 1:30, I'm going to be listening to that first segment.
I wish people could have listened to me and Ira in the car on the way back from Gainesville. I think we should have recorded ourselves and made that
belly up. Yeah, that should have been. Yeah. All right. Well, that'll be headlines for you folks on Tuesday as well. Stay connected to warchant.com. Again, remember, Cyber Monday deal, 50% off an annual membership at warchant.com. You get all the access across On3, and you get that 1-year subscription to The Athletic. All those opinions Corey said that people have, come share them on warchant.com. Maybe it'll make the show. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com, warchantbogo, your promo code.